Hi, and welcome back to the most buried brand in sports entertainment, NXT. Hi, welcome back to the Jonesy Chats Wrestling YouTube channel. My name is Steve, and I'm here to review last night's NXT. Raw has really killed this brand. It's going to be hard for them to recover with what they've done to Karrion Kross. Jeff Hardy beating him in 3 minutes has done all the damage it can possibly do. I was hoping tonight that they would have a reply or some form of story that would squash this Jeff Hardy loss in some reason or another. I don't know, but yeah, unfortunately, it's done the damage it's done. So let's get into it anyway and review a sort of half-decent show of NXT anyway. Show starts off with the package of Samoa Joe and what happened last week with Karrion Kross tapping him out. We then cut to the ring and Joe is coming out. Joe is simply the best person on the mic. I can't find anyone better than him. He's calling out Karrion Kross. Regal comes down and says Kross isn't here, but he assures him he's on his way to the arena. And those two argue about what's going to happen. Regal says that he can't really do anything because he's not a competitor, he's an official. And Joe says, well, you said if I wasn't provoked, and I was provoked. And yeah, this is just a fantastic promo. Go back and watch it. So Joe is just unbelievable in this. We then get a short hype video for Xia Li with her match coming up against Raquel Gonzalez later on. We cut to our first match. It's Diamond Mines, Roderick Strong and Tyler Rust. They're taking on a team of Bobby Fish and Kushida. The match is really solid, gets loads of time. It's just unfortunately that the ending ends like it does. I mean, like, you've got Diamond Mine who've been formed for what, 2-3 weeks now, and they're already losing. It's a bad finish as well. So it ends up with Rust in the ring. Kushida does a diving knee to his arm, and then he kicks him in the arm, locks in the hoverboard lock, and picks up the pinfall. And yeah, this isn't really that well planned out because Diamond Mine are meant to be this established team. These are the cage fighters. These are the guys that have had all the training. They're the team. These are the ones that should be picking wins up over two wrestlers just put together. Like I said, the match itself is solid, but yeah, unfortunately, the ending for me just doesn't. I don't know how this plays out for me. We then cut to a video earlier in the day of Knight and Grimes arriving in that white Corvette that Knight has. He tells Grimes to get his bags out the back. Drake Maverick appears and tries to help Grimes carry the bag, but Knight gets in the way and says, no, that's his job. And this ends up building to a match later on tonight between Drake Maverick and LA Knight. I like the way they're doing this because they're kind of trying to make it look like Grimes is a burden on LA Knight, and when he's with Grimes, nothing seems to go right for him. We come back from this commercial break and we get the announcement of the next NXT takeover. It is the 22nd of August. It is the day after SummerSlam. So yeah, going to be a packed weekend that week. So SummerSlam on the Saturday, then NXT takeover on the Sunday. Should be a good pay-per-view weekend that week. So yeah, it'll be busy. We then get a breakout tournament hype video for Odyssey Jones with his match coming up later on in the night. This then cuts to Samoa Joe, who's pacing the entrance of the CWC, waiting for Karrion Kross to enter before we cut to our next match. Up next, Frankie Monet versus JC Jane. Where do they find these names? Do they have some sort of default name generator? But yeah, JC Jane, formerly Avery Taylor, she's previously appeared on WWE. She was in a Battle Royale last September on NXT, where she lost in that to Candice LeRae, who was the eventual winner. And she was also on an episode of Raw Underground where she lost to Jessamine Duke. But Frankie Monet comes out. She has Jessie Kamea with her. She's shortly followed by Robert Stone. Mandy Rose pops out at one point and she's laying on the announcer's desk. And I don't know if she's scouting JC Jane or whatever seems to be happening with this, but it's a pretty short match. Frankie wins with a double underhook drop that she does. Yeah, just to say what they're playing with these two, I don't know, but yeah, just say it could be something interesting going forward. We then get a video of earlier on the day where Mackenzie is interviewing Johnny and Austin Theory, and she's talking to Johnny about his loss to Karrion Kross last week. These two are great together, so I love seeing Johnny and Austin together. They're interrupted by Kyle O'Reilly. He basically challenges Theory to a match after all the comments that he made about him last week. We come back from the commercial break and we get another Wade Barrett sit-down interview, this time with Bronson Reed. He's talking to him about his match with Adam Cole next week. We then get the Kyle O'Reilly and Austin Theory match. This is a fantastic match, solid match. Austin Theory is doing some great in-ring character work, and so these two together, they seem to have this really good chemistry, and it's a feud that I'd actually like to see more of because this was really entertaining. There was loads of really good spots in this. Ultimately, though, it ends with O'Reilly picking up the win here. He manages to drop that diving knee onto the back of Theory's leg. He then gets him in a submission hold and Theory taps out. So yeah, a solid match. Go back and watch this because this was probably the match of the night for me. It was absolutely fantastic. We then get Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. They're being interviewed by Mackenzie backstage, and they're just talking about Xia Li's match tonight. But there's a good, interesting point to this where Raquel says, when I beat Xia Li tonight, there won't be anyone left. And if you watch Dakota's face, you can see it brewing. It's going to happen at some point because she's just like, yeah, but I'm here. I should be challenging you for this. So when this happens, this is going to be this is going to be like a volcano erupting. It's just this. I cannot wait for this to happen. We then come back from the commercial break to get a Legado del Fantasma musical, which doesn't turn to be. It's just basically a sort of a piss take out of what happened with Hit Row last week. Escobar tells the mariachi band to leave. Hit Row come out eventually, and they start having this war of words. And Hit Row are treating it like it's a rap battle once again. They enter the ring, and there's a standoff between the sort of six of them. It ends up with just Escobar and Swerve being in there. Escobar manages to get on top, and he actually goes to hit Swerve with a guitar that's been left by one of the mariachi players. B-Fab takes the guitar off him, and it turns around, and Escobar manages to escape before Swerve ends up using it on one of the other members of Legado del Fantasma. This feud is building nicely. It's just a shame that, I don't know, I maybe would have preferred Escobar to get the hit on Swerve with the guitar. The problem is people are so behind Hit Row that I've just got a feeling that Escobar still won't win this. To say, I love Escobar, I think he's great. I just don't think he's going to win this feud. We then get the way backstage. All four members basically saying that they've had a bad time recently. Candice is saying like, we've lost the tag titles. She says to Johnny that you lost your match against Karrion Kross recently. She tells Austin to stop picking fights that he can't win. Indy pipes up and says a little line where she says, look, if Theory wants to kiss Dexter, then let him kiss Dexter. Obviously, she's obviously caught up in this whole Index story. Johnny and Candice talk about getting a therapist, maybe the one that worked on Theory before, to work on Indy. But there's this whole thing with Theory, and he just kind of, he does the no-look high five, but then just closes his fist like he did when he entered for the match. And he just walks off. So I don't know if this is Austin going his own way and kind of going on his own path now. We're going to see where that goes over the next few weeks, I imagine. Come back from the commercial break. Joe is still pacing the front of the CWC. Reeve comes out and says that he needs to calm down and needs to do it in a professional manner. But Joe's like, nah, this ain't going to happen in a professional manner. We then get the next match in the NXT Breakout Tournament. Andre Chase versus Odyssey Jones. And my God, if you couldn't tell who was going to win this match from the entrances alone, then by God, someone help you, because Andre Chase comes out. He's got the most generic entrance music. He's got the most generic video package. And all of a sudden, Odyssey Jones comes out and he's got the lot. He's got the really good music. He's got the decent, like, Titantron video. And you could just tell that this wasn't going to go the right way for Andre Chase. Come to think of it, we didn't even get an Andre Chase hype package for this tournament, for this match coming up. So this, again, another reason why you could see where this was going. Jones inevitably wins in a very short match. Odyssey Jones, to be fair, looks quite solid. And there's actually a network exclusive afterwards where it shows him coming backstage and him and Duke Hudson interact. And I'm telling you now, that could be a fantastic final between the two of them. We then get an MSK interview with Mackenzie. They're basically about to explain what the meaning MSK is before the video feed is interrupted by Imperium. They basically turn around and say the same thing they normally do, where they want to restore honor to the ring and to the tag team division. It cuts back just as Wes has finished explaining it. He says, this is what MSK is. I'm wondering how the hell Imperium are getting a tag team title shot if that's the case, because their last match was a loss to Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. So how that one works out, I don't know. That was a month ago, and their last win was the match before that, which was in April. So I don't understand the theory for this. Again, I can automatically predict that MSK are going to win this. Someone's going to take these titles off MSK, and it's going to be the Grizzled Young Veterans. It has to be, I'm sorry. But there's a network exclusive for this, which basically goes back to Mackenzie interviewing MSK again. And they say that Imperium interrupted the feed. And they say, look, if Imperium want to get in line, then get in line. Mackenzie then asks to explain the MSK thing again. And they just say, look, it was kind of like one of them in the moment kind of things. So maybe another time. But apparently, if you know the backstory, you're in MSK now, because they tell Mackenzie she's now part of MSK. That's the weirdest initiation into a faction I've ever seen. If you know the backstory, you're in. So yeah, we come back from the next commercial break. Pete Dunne's there. He's just basically saying that Ciampa and Thatcher have stepped up next week. He wants to have a scrap with Thatcher and Ciampa. So yeah, this match is set up. I can't wait to see that one. On to the next match, LA Knight versus Drake Maverick. Drake has jobber entrance. He's already in the ring again. LA Knight honestly has the worst music in NXT. I think it is honestly terrible. The thing is, with how the story's played out during the course of the show and last week or so, you could tell how this match would end. Knight is distracted by Grimes because he's trying to get Grimes to hold up the $1 million title. And everyone's just chanting for Grimes, and Knight's telling the crowd to shut up. Drake manages to have a half-decent display, to be fair, when they are actually wrestling. But the match ends with Knight telling Grimes to hold up that $1 million title. Maverick drop kicks Knight into the $1 million title and then gets the roll-up for the win. The match then, the match then ends here, but it goes on further because, Knight carries on the beatdown. Grimes gets in the ring and tells Knight to stop. The match is over. Knight's like, no, this isn't stopped. You're going to hit him now. Grimes goes to leave. Knight drags him back in, and he basically forces Grimes to hit Drake Maverick. And Grimes is obviously like fighting with himself, but inevitably he has to do it because he is Knight's butler. I like this because it's now building the tension back up that we had initially with the feud for the title. So I'm all for this, and hopefully it goes more like this in the future. We come back from the commercial break, and Karrion Kross's car has arrived. Joe comes storming out, and he drags the driver out, and it's just some random guy that says, Kross is already here, he just told me to bring his car around. So Joe storms off and he goes straight back to the CWC to try to look for him. We then get the announcement for 3 matches next week. You've got the tag match between Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Ciampa and Thatcher. Adam Cole will be taking on Bronson Reed, and also the next match in the breakout tournament, which will be Carmelo Hayes and Josh Briggs. Then onto the main event, Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. Couple of things about this though. Xia Li apparently is undefeated in 2021. From checking her Pro Fight DB, it's not that hard when she was missing for 3 months. So I can see why she's not been beaten in 2021. But the match itself is fairly good. It seems to be building at a decent pace, but there's just one point in this match where something goes wrong, I think, because I don't know whether Xia Li seems to have broken a rib or not. This was the concern, because there's a point where Xia Li's in the corner and Raquel sort of pushes herself up off of the turnbuckle and twists and does like a senton onto Xia Li. And it looks like she lands on the bottom right rib of Xia Li and has possibly broken a rib. So the ref tells Raquel to go into the corner. Now, bless Raquel, she does well here because she's still trying to build the anger and the feud between this is what you wanted and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, for about, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, the ref and the medical team are checking on Xia Li, and it almost looks like she has a broken rib. I don't know whether Xia Li turns around and says, no, let's just get the match finished. Because Xia Li gets back up. Raquel just picks her up, does that single arm powerbomb. She picks up the title and retains. But yeah, by the looks of it, Xia Li may have suffered a broken rib. So yeah, hopefully it's not so major. Maybe it's not a broken rib. Maybe it's just really good storytelling. I don't know. I couldn't actually find anything on an update for it yet. But I say, if it is, all the well to her, and hope she gets better soon. As Raquel and Dakota are celebrating at the top of the ramp, Samoa Joe storms out, and man, he is pissed. He just wants Karrion Kross now because he knows he's in the building somewhere. He tells him to come out to the ring, and we get Karrion Kross on the Titantron. Kross says that he can do whatever he wants, go wherever he wants, and hurt whoever he wants, apart from Jeff Hardy, apparently. And the camera pans out, and he's got out in the car park, and Regal is down on the floor, and Regal looks out and busted up. Joe is angry, pissed, and whatever other words you can think of to explain it. But Kross gets in his car and drives away. Like I said, I really would have hoped they would have done something to justify it or give reason to why Kross loses to Jeff Hardy in 3 minutes. To say if they have a rematch, Kross needs to beat him in 30 seconds. He needs to just smash him, pin him, and that's the only way I think you're going to recover it now. But yeah, just to finish off the rest of the show, say Joe's angry, Kross drives off. There's a network exclusive afterwards where Joe's checking on Regal in the medical room. He walks off, and then we get another standoff between Pete Dunne and Samoa Joe. But Joe's really not interested in it this week. He sort of looks at him, walks away, and Pete just looks at him with a smirk on his face. But yeah, that's it for the show. Fairly decent, to be fair. A couple of sort of dodgy decisions, a possible injury, but otherwise, yeah, fairly entertaining show. Just on NXT itself, though, Vince McMahon is an idiot. CM Punk was right. Vince McMahon would be a billionaire, but he's not. He's a multi-millionaire because he makes idiotic and stupid decisions. He has 3 branded shows on TV, and Raw, he can't book right. It's just constantly rewritten matches of the same garbage every single time. And you've got people that work for the company that try to justify that, oh, it was a really good show. No, it wasn't. You had an undefeated NXT champion lose in 3 minutes. You had Keith Lee return to lose to Bobby Lashley with no hype and no build to it whatsoever, just so you can have a Hall of Famer get a match at SummerSlam. And then 4 of the other matches were just rematches from previous weeks. How many times? We've seen Elias versus Jackson Riker 6 times. What's so fresh and new about it? This is why I find NXT is the best brand, because I can't even remember the last time I saw a rematch on NXT. This is how long it's been. It's always fresh matches. It's always people against different people, and it makes you want to watch it because it's just so different every week. And ultimately, yes, you may be building stories, but it's what they call long-term story building. But I haven't seen, for instance, tonight, LA Knight versus Drake Maverick. I haven't seen that 6 weeks in a row. Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez. Don't think it's ever actually happened before. And it's like they have all this talent and they know how to book it right. Yet Vince McMahon treats NXT like it's absolute garbage. And this is what I mean. CM Punk was right. He should have been a billionaire, but he's only ever going to be a multi-millionaire because he can't book Raw correctly. NXT he treats like it's nothing. The fact that NXT haven't been on Survivor Series for the last year or so, they probably won't even be on it this year. When they were on it, it was one of the best Survivor Series they've had in a long, long time. SmackDown's the only one you can get right at the minute, but that's because it's a smaller show. It's a smaller show. It's got better creative. You've got Paul Heyman doing all of Roman Reigns' narrative. Yeah, man, it just angers me, man, because how many other wrestling companies in the world have free TV shows on network TV? They don't. Hopefully, well, I say hopefully, I don't reckon there will be any salvation to it. Karrion Kross is going to get buried. He's just made all the NXT roster look like they can lose to the likes of Jeff Hardy. I've got no problems with Jeff Hardy, but I'm sorry, he's not better than Adam Cole. He's not better than Johnny Gargano. He's not better than Kyle O'Reilly. And these people have all lost matches to Karrion Kross. And then to have Karrion Kross lose in 3 minutes by a cheating roll-up as well. Do you know what I mean? He's lost all his appeal as well. All his smoke and mirrors has gone, and you've lost all the appeal of Karrion Kross. He could have been massive. He doesn't treat NXT like it's his third brand. He treats it like it's almost like a parent that has 2 kids and then a stepchild. And the stepchild, because it isn't his, he honestly doesn't give a shit about it. And that's how NXT's treated. It's treated as an unloved stepchild, unfortunately, because this is Triple H's baby, and this is everything Triple H has done to make this brand what it is. That's why it gets treated like shit. But yeah, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed. Sorry about the rant. You know all the good stuff. Up here for the subscribe, up here for another video. Have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.